Canadian Mounted Police Division are launching an investigation into recent reports of rioting in Vancouver. Numerous suspects are confirmed to be armed. Fatalities have been reported in the vicinity. Police request that all members of the general public shelter in place. Monitor local media for further updates.
This is a message from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, E Division. Authorities are attempting to respond to numerous reports of rioting in Vancouver and Burnaby. Police response will be slowed due to inadequate supplements, as caused by the recent Letum-Wills event. Do not stay outdoors or become involved. Seek immediate shelter. If you conspire against authorities and/or join the riots, you will be prosecuted. Stay tuned to local media and remain notified.
The South Dakota Office of Emergency Management, in coordination with the National Weather Service, have issued a local area emergency for the following counties in South Dakota: Stanley, Hughes, and Sully. Effective for 24 hours until 11:18 a.m. local time on November 22, 2023. A cloud of hazardous air has begun covering the state of South Dakota and is now approaching the aforementioned counties. Seek shelter if you are not already secured. Ensure you have adequate supplies, as going outdoors will put your health at risk. All cracks or openings in your shelter should be blocked off to prevent air contaminated with high amounts of particle material from entering your shelter. Stay safe and call emergency services if you are in need of help.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police Division are actively involved in containing multiple life-threatening situations in Vancouver and Burnaby. Multiple major buildings have been bombed and fatalities are widespread. Armed suspects are at large. Police request that all members of the general public shelter in place. Monitor local media for further updates.
This is a message from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, E Division. Multiple major buildings in Vancouver and Burnaby have been bombed by domestic terrorists. These buildings include but are not limited to the Atlas, the One Wall Center, the Vancouver House, and the Sovereign. This is a life-threatening situation. If you are outdoors, seek shelter now. Do not hesitate. The suspects have not been identified and are at large. Please report any suspicious individuals to emergency services by calling the 911 hotline. Stay safe and stay notified.
It is with great regret that we announce the dissolution of the City of Ames. The city has become impossible to manage in such difficult circumstances. Most Ames City representatives have passed away due to complications originating from recent events. Most notably, The food supply in and surrounding the city has collapsed. Sweeping crop failure is the main cause. With the Letum-Wills Event causing drastic shifts in climate, crops have become increasingly difficult to produce, and continuation of the agricultural system is only effectively possible through artificial production, which itself is difficult in these circumstances. It is recommended that you exit the city due to this and locate a supportive food supply or an area with wildlife to hunt. The changes in climate also create issues for living conditions. With the mix of the winter season and the dust-covered atmosphere, temperatures are extremely cold and will remain so for months. The dust in the air can also pose a threat to compromised groups. Please remain vigilant. It has been proved by cases in other areas of the world that creating unrest to provide for yourself is a cause for deterioration in society and worsening of the current situation. The city of Ames has officially dissolved. The city government can no longer assist you. May God bless you in these difficult times. We wish you the best in your future journeys.
人口密集地での大規模な暴動と国内退去。人口密集地での大規模な暴動と国内退去。屋内にとどまり、警戒を怠りません。対象地域、千葉県、東京都、神奈川県、静岡県。人口密集地での大規模な暴動と国内退去。人口密集地での大規模な暴動と国内退去。屋内にとどまり、警戒を怠りません。対象地域、千葉県、東京都、神奈川県、静岡県。人口密集地での大規模な
The following message is being broadcasted by the Boulder Police Department. Shelters across the city of Boulder and surrounding areas have been purged by several groups of criminals. Supplies designated for those in need have been stolen, and there are at least 13 separate fatalities reported so far. No arrests have been made, and the criminal groups are all at large. At this time, remain vigilant and stay secure in a shelter that cannot be entered by outsiders. If possible, stolen supplies will be returned to their designated shelters. If you see any suspicious individuals that may be responsible for these purges, please report the cases to the police. The following message is transmitted at the request of the El Paso Police Department. Active police shooting is in progress. A large riot has begun in downtown El Paso. A mob of around 500 people has begun inciting violence against the police, and both sides have opened fire. Do not enter downtown El Paso at this time. Do not put your life in unnecessary danger. Stay in your shelter until further notice. If you join the violence, the police have permission to act to the law's fullest extent to defend the peace. Repeat, a large riot has begun in downtown El Paso and gunfire has been exchanged. Do not enter downtown El Paso at this time. Do not put your life in unnecessary danger. Stay in your shelter until further notice. If you join the violence, the police have permission to act to the law's fullest extent to defend the peace.
Disponible en español en el canal 48 para los telespectadores virtuales y en el 26 para los telespectadores digitales.
This is a simple emergency for all who remain in Layton. The Layton Heartland City shelter has been infiltrated by a mob. Much of the community supplies located inside have been seized and at least 3 residents are dead. The suspects are still at large and Layton police are on the lookout. Stay safe at this time. Ensure that your shelter is secured and is only accessible to its inhabitants. Remain vigilant. Do not go outside. Thank you.
Lamentamos informar a la población que la nación de Honduras ha colapsado. Las secuelas del evento Letum-Wills han creado una crisis dentro de las fronteras de nuestro país que ha tenido efectos devastadores. Los disturbios han llegado a ser tan graves que las víctimas mortales se cuentan por minutos. Los efectos meteorológicos también han creado un peligro que ha causado la muerte de muchos ciudadanos, muchos de los cuales no habían tomado precauciones. Los alborotadores han destruido el Palacio Presidencial de Tegucigalpa y nuestro presidente provisional Díaz, que sustituía al anterior presidente Castro antes de la catástrofe, ha aparecido muerto. Honduras no puede seguir funcionando en estas condiciones. Queremos despedirnos de nuestros ciudadanos. La República de Honduras no es más.
El gobierno de la República ha emitido un mensaje de emergencia para todo el país de México. Se han registrado casos masivos de disturbios y saqueos debido a la escasez de suministros esenciales. Estos sucesos afectan directamente a las vidas de los ciudadanos de todos los bandos en esta circunstancia. Al participar en los disturbios, se está poniendo en peligro a sí mismo y a sus compañeros. La Policía Federal ha sido autorizada a ejercer y defender la paz con todo el peso de la ley. Esto significa que todos aquellos que se opongan a esta decisión pueden y serán fusilados en el acto. Estas medidas son duras pero están hechas para proteger al país y no seguir los pasos de Honduras, que ayer colapsó por su falta de protección. Si usted es un ciudadano de a pie, refúgiese en su lugar inmediatamente. Salga al exterior solo si es absolutamente necesario. Los que viven en zonas urbanas son los que corren más peligro de encontrarse con individuos hostiles. Manténgase alerta. El gobierno de la República intentará atender a los ciudadanos en la medida de lo posible.
Il s'agit d'une situation d'urgence civile pour les régions administratives d'Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, d'Île-de-France et de Bourgogne-Franche-Comté. Cela inclut les grandes villes de Paris, Lyon et Dijon. Les émeutes et les troubles civils sont très répandus dans les régions françaises susmentionnées. Dans de nombreux cas de violence, il y a eu des morts, des bâtiments détruits et des blessures graves. Tous les services de police et d'urgence ne sont pas équipés pour faire face aux émeutiers en ce moment. Ne participez pas à ces émeutes car vous contribuez à la spirale descendante de la civilisation dans le pays et mettez en danger la vie des autres. Si vous continuez à le faire, vous serez sanctionné par la loi dans toute sa rigueur. Tous les citoyens doivent rester en sécurité dans cette situation. Assurez-vous que votre abri est sécurisé et approvisionné correctement. Continuez à suivre les services des médias pour vous tenir au courant de la situation.
The following message is being broadcasted by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Emergency Management Agencies of Georgia and South Carolina. 2 reactor failures have been reported at the Alvin W. Bogtold Generating Center and a meltdown is imminent. The severity of this event indicates a disaster level of EAS 7. The plant was never shut down when a national emergency was called, yet many employees were called off from maintaining the plant. This brings authorities to the conclusion that lack of maintenance is to blame for this disaster. Those in an 80-mile radius of the plant should find a way to evacuate. However, if you are unable to leave, take precautions by securing your shelter. Block all cracks and openings to the outside. Ensure you have supplies of food, water, spare clothing, and medicine to last 14 to 21 days. If you are able to evacuate, you should optimally use interstate routes 20, 75, and 85 to evacuate. If this is not possible, you may use other highways. However, these routes may not be equipped for mass use. Those in a radius closer than 20 miles to the plant are lost and should not evacuate. Be prepared with a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio. For further updates, you should tune into the following stations: 940 AM or 97.1 FM in Georgia, and 97.5 FM in South Carolina. This message will be repeated for up to 60 minutes.
I am Jason Olson. I represent the Olson family with this statement. My brother, Elijah, was killed in the recent Vogtle incident. Elijah provided me with insider information regarding his work there. Despite the global catastrophe, he was forced to continue working. The Vogtle plant was seized by a faction of Georgia Power, New Georgia Generations, in September of 2023. After the asteroid collisions, they laid off many workers, but not all of them. Elijah was one of the remaining employees. The obvious option for him was to just leave his job and prioritize his life. But he couldn't. For one, he needed something to live off of, even if it was incredibly low wages. Second, it's that his life was being held in New Georgia Generation's hands. If he dared inform authorities or attempt to leave, he would be hunted down. So the Vogtle plant kept operating on low staff until now. The ownership lasted for 3 months, and that's surprising considering their employee count. With such low maintenance, the plant should have collapsed weeks ago. There's not much left that I can do, but I swear on my life I will get revenge on New Georgia Generations and their head scumbag Mike Lawson. You took my brother from me. Watch your step.
Este mensaje es enviado por el Gobierno de la República de Cuba. A las 6:25 del 2 de enero, una central nuclear estadounidense se fundió y explotó. Las secuelas de esta catástrofe son comparables a las de Chernobyl, si no más intensas. Los penachos radiactivos han sobrevolado Cuba y han envenenado el aire, haciendo imposible la respiración para cualquiera que permaneciera al aire libre. Esta catástrofe no ha hecho más que empeorar la difícil situación que atraviesa esta nación. La mayor parte del país está en ruinas debido a los desastres naturales o a los daños causados por los disturbios civiles. Con el reciente suceso en juego, estos factores no han hecho más que empeorar a medida que más personas mueren por falta de aire respirable, ataques de otros ciudadanos y falta de suministros. Las infraestructuras han quedado destruidas en todo el país. El gobierno ya no puede funcionar. Al ceder este mensaje, el gobierno de la República de Cuba se apagará en el futuro previsible y cesará sus operaciones. Nuestra gran nación no se derrumbará para siempre. Volveremos más fuertes.
This is an update directory from the United Nations. All remaining governments of UN member states will receive this message, if at all possible. We apologize for the lack of communication recently. Our main headquarters, located in New York City, United States, was destroyed by the impact fire phenomena of the Letum-Wills Event as the battles against the flames were exhausted. In the past few months of the ravaging Letum-Wills Event, regular society has collapsed globally. The states most affected by the crisis have enacted martial law to hold themselves together for longer. In order of action, major examples are Mexico, the United States, Canada, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and Guatemala, along with regional governments and territorial boundaries, such as the constituent countries of Greenland, Wales, and Curaçao. Many world governments, one part of the UN, will not receive this message due to loss of function as part of a national collapse. These nations are, in order of collapse time, Honduras, El Salvador, Cuba, Yemen, Syria, Somalia, Haiti, Venezuela, and Bosnia-Herzegovina. The main factor causing the collapses of these nations appears to be a lack of stability and civil unrest, with the exception of Cuba, more so facing issues with natural disasters and the recent power plant failure in the U.S. state of Georgia. The cases of violence in the collapsed countries are particularly intense. The first country to collapse, Honduras, fell after the capital city of Tegucigalpa was partially destroyed and their provisional president was assassinated, found dead in the rubble of the presidential palace. This serves as a warning to UN member states. Global society will be fragile throughout the next decade or so, and if national populations are left unmanaged, governments will collapse and mass casualties will occur within national borders. We wish you luck in these troubling times. We will remain active to keep you updated. Please stand by for this emergency action notification message. Due to the shutdown of the National Information Center, this message will be coded separately. Please stand by. Due to the shutdown of the National Information Center, this message will be coded separately. Please stand by.
This is not a test. The dangerous effects on the climate caused by the Letum-Wills event have ceased. However, only select states will be cleared due to an insurrectionist movement in the western and central states. Safe states will broadcast all clear messages after this broadcast cedes. Climate effects will last throughout the world as temperatures will rise well above average and the upcoming summer will be extremely hot and enduring. However, life will go on and society will recover in the future. Governments in safe states are reorganizing and establishing shelters for those in need after this disaster. Such will occur in states affected by the insurrectionist movement in the future. Not much is known about this movement as there are few existing reports, which only branch from state governments, specifically from the governments of Nevada, Nebraska, and Idaho. No further information is available. Stay tuned to media outlets in the coming hours for subsequent all-clear broadcasts.
This is KKOH. This station will continue furnishing news, official information, and instructions for the Northern Nevada area. If you are not in the Northern Nevada area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your area. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements from the station in your local area. This emergency action notification sequence has been renewed for the Northern Nevada area. No all clear is in effect. Stay in your shelters for the time being. The emergency alert system has been activated.
Alright, we've located Mr. Osborne's shelter. Everyone keep quiet. We need to learn about his condition. Jesus Christ. What?
900 million people. 900 goddamn million.
He's losing his mind.
Oh, I had to be so f***ing careless. Really, Wayne should have never put me on a job. Maybe this blue prison ball would be a little bit brighter without a global f***ing catastrophe. I can't believe this bullshit I've caused. All these countries collapsed, the families torn apart. I don't know. 900 million dead people.
He's quiet. We might have a check. Oh. Answer!
This is Jason Olson, speaking once more. It's been an eventful time for me. It's nice to know now that Mike Lawson got his money's worth. I wasn't bluffing when I told him to watch his step, but my journey isn't over yet. Even Lawson, himself acting as a puppeteer to those innocent power plant employees, is but a puppet himself. Now, this may come off as unsurprising or horrifying. I know that people out there have had to face this brute, and I have myself. Ronald McNamara is the head honcho of this whole dilemma. He's taken the eastern shores of Lake Tahoe and made it his playground. What is this playground? A full-blown insurgency. He is starving for power. He's already taken over western Nevada and made it the ultimate fortress of his operation. God forbid what may be happening to the citizens there. Now, McNamara, take my advice here. Watch your back. If you don't, you'll end up like your little servants.
Dadgum.